So it is finally time for another installment of Buy or Pass, and the reason I started it a little different than the usual video is because this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. I am here on the wrestling figure database, as we always use, and by God, it says 113 bendies to get through. We're going to be talking about the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Major Bendies line. Whether you like them or you hate them, you got to give them the respect and credit they deserve. You got to give them the respect and credit they deserve for creating this line and sustaining it for 3 years with no end in sight. Even if you're not a Bendies fan, I've owned one Bendie in my life, and it was, you know what? I'll point it out when we get to it. So we're gonna go through one by one and decide if you should buy or pass on every single Major Bendie. So, we're going to start off with Series 1, of course. You have Smart Mark Sterling. This one, I believe, is a pass because there's a more evergreen version down the line. We'll talk about it. This Brian Myers, definitely not my favorite design for him. I'm going to go with a pass on this one because, once again, we know there are better ones down the road. The Series 1 Matt Cardona, pass. But the tan variant that was shipped in a bag and not in the package, that is a buy. That is the most evergreen Matt Cardona figure that you can get in the Bendies line. The other ones are all event specific. This is the one to get. If you're going to get any in this top row, it is the tan variant. But then we're going to go down. Oh, no, this is still Series 1. My bad. We have Swoggle. Now, Swoggle has been a part of the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast family the whole time. I think he only has 2 Bendies. This one's a buy. If you gotta have a Swoggle in your collection, it is a definite buy. Then we get into the last match, Ric Flair with the Jim Crockett Promotions logo on there and everything. I'm not a Ric Flair guy at all. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way like 15 years ago, and I was kind of done with him then. If the match or event meant anything to you, if Ric Flair meant anything to you, of course, it's a must-have. Me personally, it is a pass. Then we have Danhausen. Danhausen has a very, very popular fan base. I'm going to go with a buy on this one. I'm not going to lie. I do, in fact, like this Danhausen. I love how majority of the pictures are like autographed versions of them. I just think it's kind of cool. Nick Gage. Now, if you're not a fan of indie wrestling, you probably don't know who Nick Gage is. I'm going to go with a buy on this one because of the ones we've seen so far, it had the most unique pose. The Ric Flair one was released later in the year. I'm going to go with it. It's got the pizza cutter. It's got the bandana. It looks cool, and it's really sick. And then we're going to get into the Major Moment exclusive Bendies with Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. This is from their WrestleMania 35 match. I think both of these are a buy, honestly. This was their last major match in WWE. We were supposed to get basics of them. It never ended up happening. And, of course, if you know, Brian Myers loves the New York Jets, and it's the Jets-inspired gear. If I had to pick one between the two, honestly, probably get the Myers because there are better Cardonas down the line. But that is my opinion on those two. Let's get into Series 2, the My World set with the Jeff Jarrett and Conrad Thompson figures. I think Conrad's a pass, I'll be honest with you. His packaging was a little too big, which made it where it had a different bubble than all the other ones. It was just a headache. A lot of people complained about it at the time, and they didn't sell that well, I'll be honest. Then you have the short-haired Jeff Jarrett. I think that one's a buy. It's pretty sick, and the older I get, the more respect I have for Jeff Jarrett. The long hair version, it's a pass. I didn't watch wrestling at that time. It's cool, don't get me wrong. I don't think you need it. Then we're going to go to the Brian Myers merch stand exclusive. This is another one of those pretty evergreen attire. This one I think you can pass on, I'll be honest. It's just my personal opinion. That's what this whole thing is. We have the comic edition Danhausen right here with a really cool card art. You can pass on this one. It's kind of inspired based off like Silver Surfer, but the only thing that pops in mind for me is Simpsons. And because does it have the art? Yeah, it has the Silver Surfer inspired art on the back. This one's a pass. Now, I cannot remember. Was this Pandora's Box exclusive Danhausen with the spiral, the black and white, except for the face paint? I think that one's a buy. The card art matches Danhausen's style enough, I think, to justify the purchase. So now you have 2 Danhausens in your collection, which is pretty cool. Let's get on down here to the row of Johnny Gargano and Mark Sterling, which was the only Bendie I have ever owned. It's from his match at Double or Nothing. I believe it was against Hookhausen. Don't hold me to that, but I think it was against Hookhausen. For the Johnny Garganos, if you're going to pick one, let's see. First of all, Mark Sterling, pass. We'll get to him later. I'm going to go with Carnage or Venom. And since we got the Venom Elite figure, I'm going to go with Carnage on the far left. I think that's the one to have, to be honest. And if I was telling you what to do with your collection, I would probably go with this one over here on the far left. It just looks really sick. Going down to the next line, we have their top seller, Tyrus. Do you need Tyrus? Probably not. He got a lot of hate in NWA. But it is a different enough figure, I think, to justify maybe having it in your collection if you want some diversity in your major Bendies line. And, I mean, we have all owned worse figures than Tyrus, let's be honest. Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona. I'm going to take this one. You got to buy this one. It's pretty sick. That gear is really good. I don't think the Bendie quite does it justice. And he has since released a crown to match this that you can now slide on the Bendie's heads. Brian Pillman, that was a pretty big get for him at the time when they started the Bendies. This was the second year of the company. I did not watch wrestling when Brian Pillman was the thing. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with pass on Pillman and Brian Clark, which is, of course, Adam Bomb. But that is my own personal opinion because I wasn't watching at the time. But if you're going to get one, and see, same thing, even the Chase version of Brian Clark down at the bottom left, I can't go with any of those personally. There's another Danhausen down here. Is that the one we saw earlier? The blue one up here with the Nick Gage is also a High Spots exclusive. So we're going to have to see what the difference is besides the carding on this Danhausen. That looks to be the only difference. Get this one instead of the High Spots ones for some uniformity in your collection. Same thing with the Nick Gage. I would go with the Bloody Chase because it fits his character. So you can skip out on the High Spots in the regular one and just get the bloody version of it. There was another Swoggle merch stand exclusive. I like the merch stand one a lot better than the first one, so pick up the Swoggle right here if you really want to nitpick. Major players, Brian Myers. You can't have one major player without the other major player. And you have Brian and Matt here. They both care so much about their attire. I don't think this does them justice. I would pass on both of these because there are better options. Just like this, it says New York Comic-Con exclusive, Brian Myers from his FWF attire. It kind of got like a White Ranger thing going on. Yeah, pick this one up. That one's pretty sick right there. Then we have the kind of military-inspired Matt Cardona. It was a one-off appearance. I'm going to pass on that one. Yeah, going to pass on that one. Get the Brian, pass on the Matt. As far as the titles, if you want the titles, if you keep them loose, you can pick those up. That's up to you. The Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona, that's that crown that I was talking about. He did sell some on his Whatnot separately that you can use for customs and other figures and stuff like that. But I think that's an easy buy, honestly. Here's the Mark Sterling that you definitely want to buy. It is his Twitch exclusive. I don't know if he has any of them left, but it is it's when I think of Mark Sterling, I think of him in a suit, and that is the one to have. I mean, just look at it up close. This one's so much better than the ring attire because we all think of him in a suit. So, once again, my personal opinion, don't hold me to it. You have the ECW, not Matt, Brian Myers. I think we picked out better attires of Brian here, unless you're just that go-to ECW guy like he is. I would pass on it. Joe Shoes, this was actually pretty insane. It's honestly, a lot of people, they voted it like Bendie of the Year last year. It's pretty sick, and if you're a big fan of the podcast, you gotta have this because Joe's is such a lovable guy. It does have the actual like Pabst Blue Ribbon branding on there, which is ridiculous. It has the fish flops, the hose, the captain's hat. If you're a part of the community, this is definitely one to have. If not, you're probably like,
what the hell is even that?
That one's up to you. I would go with buy. Colt Cabana. I don't know. We'll go with buy just for the sake of having a Colt Cabana, because the only other version he has is a micro brawler or an FTC, and God knows nobody wants either one of those. Bloody Effie. This is an exclusive. Not sure to where. Wrestling Collector Shop. It's just a Bloody Effie with a purple jacket. I think you can pass on that one, I'll be honest. How about some Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Okay, so obviously there's 4 versions. You have the regular, you have the 4th of July, you have the exclusive to Wrestling Collector Shop, and then you have the chase of the regular. Me personally, I would take the first one, the base figure on the far left. And I love the wood packaging, but I would love it even more if it had the 4th of July packaging. But I don't want a Hacksaw in a singlet. So it's kind of one of those things. If you want something more evergreen, go with the one on the far left over here. I think that scratches the itch that you need with Hacksaw. All right, we got Knick over here. He's kind of the man behind the scenes for the Major Bendy's company. Once again, same thing with Joe Shoes. If you are invested in the community, definitely pick up Knick. If not, it's an easy pass for you. As far as Tyrus goes, the USA version, I'd pick this one up over the other one, to be honest with you. I think it's pretty cool. This one actually looks really sick, and I love the USA gear that they chose. Once again, this is the Live 15 exclusive Mark Sterling. I think he only wore this attire at Live 15, which was strange. It's one you can pass on, to be honest with you. Nails, we're never going to get a Nails figure again, I don't think. If you feel the need for a Nails, this is, I think, one of your only chances to get it. And he actually signed them, which was pretty insane because he's been way out of the wrestling world for years. So, yeah, I'd pick up Nails if I were you. This was an exclusive, though. This was exclusive to High Spots. Yeah, pick up High Spots Nails. Why not? Why not? Alrighty, here we go. Let's see. PowerCon exclusive Smart Mark. Like we talked about, if you get the TwitchCon exclusive, that's the only one you really need. TNA carding Brian Myers. I think you can pass on this one unless you have some special attachment to Impact or old school TNA. The carding is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But there are better designs for Brian Myers, I will admit. Indie God Matt Cardona. One of his hottest gimmicks. I'm going to go with a buy on this one. I don't like the color of the skin on there, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. Then you have Spencer Powers. Now, if you've been in the YouTube figure world for years now, this is Pixel Dan. If you're a fan of him, pick it up, sure. But a lot of people probably don't really know who that is. So leave that up to you. I'm going to go with a pass. Just a simple pass on that one. We have Pro Wrestling Tees exclusive Brian Myers over here in the Mets colors. Pick it up. Dude's a big New York sports teams fan, and it's the best way to represent him, I think. I think this is one you got to pick up, and it matches one of his elites, so it's pretty cool. Then you have the Pro Wrestling Tees exclusive Matt Cardona in the Ghostbusters attire. The figure isn't special enough for me. I do love the Ghostbusters attire, but the carding is sick. I love the back of the card too, but you're not going to display the back of the card. If it came with the jacket, it'd be a must-have. I'm going to go with a pass on that one. Yeah, I'm going to go with a pass. Raven, who is this exclusive to? Omega Level Toys and Comics. This one's actually fairly easy to get your hands on. If you're a fan of Raven, yeah, go pick it up. It's pretty cool. It's a solid figure. Then we have the referee. This is not John Cone. That one was cool to have. If you need a referee for your bendies, absolutely. But I would pass on that one because of his elite out now. And then we're going down to the next two referees. You have the one that is TTD, which is their graphic artist behind the scenes for Major Wrestling for Your Podcast, Major Bendies, and a lot of different wrestlers. I would pick that one up if you want to round out your behind-the-scenes team. And I would skip out on this Knick referee because if you're a big fan, you probably picked up the other one. So I'd go with the TTD Bendie. And let's see. These were exclusive. What were these exclusive to? Oh, Major Pod merch. That makes sense. All right. Then you have the bloody version of Ric Flair. I'll probably pick this one up over the other one. Yeah, we'll go with that. Chelsea Green, yellow and pink. Let's see. The pink one does not say who was exclusive. Oh, Wrestler Collector Shop. I love the carding on this one with the hot mess and the color explosion. I'm going to go with the first one, the yellow attire, only because the yellow looks really good. There's not enough like yellow wrestling figures, and it has the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast kind of branding on there better. It's a little more uniform with the first set. Then we have another Colt Cabana. You can skip that. If you need Effie, you can skip on that one because, I mean, if you know him, fine. If you don't, oh well. Gangrel. Gangrel one's pretty cool. Haven't had a Gangrel figure in forever. Pick that one up. But if you haven't gotten an Effie yet, that'd be the one to do. But actually skip out on that Gangrel and go and get the Chase version of him because you got to have Gangrel with the blood. I mean, come on. The dude was a vampire, for God's sake. Then you have Series 4, the British Bulldog. Yeah, I went around for him, but it's a pretty solid figure. Doc Gallows, this is before he signed back with WWE. I love the beard going all the way down. There's a lot of detail on here too. It's and quite frankly, it's better than their Super 7, which sucked. Get Doc Gallows. Joey Janela, we can skip that one. That's a pass. Same thing with the bloody variant of it. You got Carl Anderson. If you're picking up Doc Gallows, you got to get Carl Anderson. That's pretty much that simple. Ricky Morton. We'll pick up Ricky Morton. He's been to a couple of their live events, or I think one of them. Either way, pick up Ricky Morton. Sergeant Slaughter. Now, okay, you have like the regular version that we would see in WWE with the camo carding and everything. So it looks good. Attention maggots on the back. Or you have the G.I. Joe version, which was a wrestling collector shop exclusive. Me personally, I love G.I. Joe as a kid. I'm going G.I. Joe version. Hands down. No competition. You got to go for the G.I. Joe version of Sergeant Slaughter. So buy that one. SDL. Now, we've already talked about the Indie God figure. I think you got to get the Indie Goddess figure in order to go along with it. So I would pass on the base one, which is this one over here. I would go with the Indie Goddess. Now, I still do not like the face on this figure by any means. Don't get me wrong. But I need this SDL to match the Matt Cardona that we are already picking up. I don't recall ever seeing this. This High Spots exclusive New Year's Evil Danhausen? I don't recall seeing this. I don't know why the tattoos aren't painted in, though. Were they not painted in? Huh. I don't know. I'm going to pass on that one. It's not that evergreen. Demolition. Can't have one without the other. Buy them both. All right. So now we have 5 versions of Macho Man. Now, I don't know as much as I would like to know. I'll be honest. You have one that is an exclusive right here to a wrestling collector shop. This has the Hasbro inspired carding. If you grew up collecting Hasbros, this is the one for you. This is not the one for me. Pass. You have this version of Macho Man. Can't tell you what it's from. Love the attire. Sorry, I can't tell you what it's from. But this one's a maybe. We haven't had a maybe yet. If you got the Slim Jim one, you probably have if you're even a fan of these guys, you probably have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Elite. Take that one over the Bendie. But this is exclusive to Ringside. It actually went up for sale today at the time of the recording. Then you have this pink and yellow Pro Wrestling Tees, one of 300. Macho Man. This bad boy sold out fast. Really fast. We'll pass on that one. Then we have the Will You Marry Me, Elizabeth, Major Bendie's exclusive Macho Man. I'm going to pass on this one as well. I think the one to get is this one here. My personal opinion. But what do I know? This is the one that I would get if I were you guys. Going down, we have an exclusive Chavo Guerrero, exclusive to Major Bendies. I love the added accessory. I really do. I really, really do. And I love Chavo Guerrero. This one's a maybe. We'll come back to Chavo in a second. You got the Mumu Danhausen. I don't think you need it. Pass. Heath, once again, if you are invested into this community, you got to have the Heath with the TNA carding to match your Brian Myers if you decide to pick it up. We have a Mike Durbin Productions exclusive Conan. This one's pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. It's got the K-Dog shirt. Yeah, pick this one up. This one's sick. Chavo, we'll pick that one up too. That one is, it's exclusive to Major Bendies. I already forgot. Deonna Purrazzo. I love Deonna Purrazzo. I hate we never got her figure with the one company. Can't remember off the top of my head. Drawing a blank. I picked this one up. It's got the TNA carding. She reinvigorated her career in TNA. And, this is one to have, honestly. That's an easy purchase there. Paul Walter Hauser, I don't think you need this one. He's an actor. He had a match with Matt Cardona. I don't think you need this one unless you're just a fan of his acting. We have the gold Major Bendies exclusive Swoggle. Get it? Because he's got the leprechaun thing going on. I'd pass on this one unless the carding just looks absolutely sick or how metallic they actually get the paint on him. That's a telltale sign. And maybe there's been updated pictures on that one recently. I don't know. I could be drawing a blank. Vlad the Superfan. Man, what a documentary that WWE put out. There was another company that was making a retro based off of him. If you're just a massive WWE fan and that documentary touched you, honestly, that's definitely one to pick up. It's going to have no real value. It's more of a sentimental thing, and it got money in Vlad's pocket, which the dude seems to have a heart of gold. So I'm going to say pick up Vlad, honestly. Live 18 exclusive Ricky Morton. Pick up the other one unless you just want the Universal Major WF Pod logo on the back, which is one of my favorite things. You don't need the Ricky Morton. We go on down here to the ECW inspired Live 19 exclusive, which is pretty cool because I was in Philadelphia with ECW. If you like ECW, pick it up. I'm going to pass on it. Maki Ito, her only figure ever. She's kind of crazy. She's big on the indies. Was pretty decent in Japan. She's been in AEW. I'd pick up Maki Ito. It looks pretty sick. Ringside exclusive at Trinity. They managed to get this before she signed back with WWE. I heard it glows in the dark. I can't remember. Also, it's pretty sick. They have this tab here where you can go and buy it directly, which I haven't noticed before on Wrestling Figure Database. That's pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. Trinity, we'll buy it. Chavo Guerrero, what does this shirt say? Eddie Guerrero is my favorite wrestler. Cheat to win. Yeah, pick this one up instead of the other one. This one's funny. I like this one. And we are on to the third page of figures. I like this attire on Deanna and Heath better than the other ones, which is quite unfortunate because I love the TNA carding of the other ones, but I love these attires more. Pick them up. You need all 4 of them. Conan, I love this attire just as much as the Mike Durbin one. Pick it up. Yeah, it's the way to do it, honestly. Alley Catch. I'm actually a big fan of Alley Catch. I love what she's doing on the indies. Personal nitpick, I would have done her Poison Apple attire, which is how do I put this? The Poison Apple attire is a Snow White inspired Disney gear that Alley Catch uses, and I think it'd be a better attire than just the plain pink with the pink hair. If you really want to know, I made it a custom figure. I had a couple of my buddies help me make it of Alley Catch in her Poison Apple attire. So go check it out. It is a custom elite figure. But yeah, you need Alley Catch. Then there's the Bloody Chase. Honestly, get the Bloody Chase. That woman goes through some insane matches, honestly. Get the Bloody Chase. Yeah. Arn Anderson. If you have a connection to the older guys, I sadly do not. Pass. That's simple for me. Eddie Guerrero. There's an elite, I think, in this exact same attire with the mullet. I'd rather have an elite just off principle alone. No, like not a dig at the Major Bendies. I got my own figure line coming out. If you're just a big Bendies fan, get the Eddie Guerrero. But for me, it is personally a pass. Now, Maven, on the other hand, and everybody's going to be like, you passed on Arn Anderson and Eddie Guerrero, and you're going to get Maven? Yeah, Maven's YouTube channel is an absolute joy to watch. Like, the dude is just so entertaining. Pick up Maven. Support the guy. I'm going to pick up Maven, I think, even though I want to make an elite of him. We'll see. Going down, we have a ringside exclusive, Sergeant Slaughter. I don't think this one holds a candle to the other ones that we looked at, so that is an easy pass for me. Steve Macklin. I like Steve Macklin a lot. I would rather have this without the face paint. I get why they did it. It's more toyetic. Don't get me wrong. I would rather have it without the face paint. But I'm going to get it by Steve Macklin. Trinity, I like this one better than the ringside exclusive. 100%. I would take this one over the ringside exclusive. WrestleCon exclusive Bloody Deathmatch King Matt Cardona. I don't like the one-legged tights. No matter how cool the blood is, the card, this is a pass because he just has so many other better attires. Marvelous Mark Marrow. I don't remember this one even being announced. It's cool. It's unique compared to the other ones. For me, it's a pass, but it does look pretty sick. That one I could change my mind on. I see that happening. Butterbean. I love the wacky, the weird. You guys know I made customs of the Paul Brothers, KSI, Mr. Beast, Hasbulla. I love the weird stuff. Give me a Butterbean figure, honestly. I even contemplated making an elite of him with 3XR Studio. Yeah, I'll take a Butterbean figure, sure. Why not? Nick Nemeth. It's cool that Dolph Ziggler is getting a Bendie because they are great friends. It's just that SummerSlam Elite Dolph that came out. It's kind of hard to go against it. It's a perfect figure, head to toe. And I'm going to take that over the Bendie. So this Bendie is a pass, in my opinion. QT Marshall, I'm indifferent on him. I have no reason to not like him. I'm going to pass on QT for now. And then the red, white, and blue QT Marshall. You know what? If you got to pick one, I'd take this one because he is part of the Nightmare Factory and he does train at Cody's gym. Get the red, white, and blue QT Marshall. But that is every major wrestling figure podcast, major Bendie that we talked about, buy or pass. This is a 30-minute video. I did not intend that to happen. I'm sure I'm going to have some comments down on this video. Oh, you should have bought this one. This was a total pass. Let me know down in the comments below. But that is going to be it for today's video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And last but not least, take it easy.